Hi, Sam from Black Belt Diagnostics. Today we've got a nice little interesting fault on a Ford C-Max. So let's have a look and see what's going on with this vehicle. The issue is the rear door doesn't lock and the dashboard says child lock malfunction, service required. So we've had a look, there is no communication with this rear door. Also, if the ignition is on, if I was to operate the window, trying to film and do it, you can see there absolutely nothing. So the first thing I'd like to do is look at a wiring diagram. So looking at the wiring diagram, E157 is the rear right door module. We've got a main power supply, a main ground, and we've also got a LIN bus wire. You can see here we've got a couple of connectors. Now before I started going to the door, I did check that fuse in the boot. That fuse is absolutely spot on. We've got 12 volts across it. Since then put a battery support on, so we're going to see everything saying 13 volts. But yeah, so I know, okay, I've got voltage there. So the next test point is the door itself. Now I'm going to say kudos to Ford here for putting a multi-plug right there. This has made testing so simple. You know, it's given me a point where I can split the actual circuit at a point. So what I've done is, looking back at that wiring diagram, I've gone onto the, I think it's a brown with the blue trace wire. I've back probed it. Now we are expecting a battery voltage. So our battery voltage should be 13 volts. We've got ground. That confirms that the ground actually is pretty good, but we are missing a power supply at that multi-plug. So somewhere from here to that fuse, there's a potential broken wire. Now, if I give this a power, the window light, the switch light comes on, and trust me, if I was to operate that window, the window will go up and down. So I now know, once I find the potential broken wire from here all the way back through under there to the back of the vehicle, once I find where that broken wire is, once it's repaired, I now know that this door will work as it should. So further on this Ford C-Max, the door harness issue, we checked, we had to take all the carpet up, so there was a multi-plug under the carpet, power and grounds, everything was there. So we found a broken wire in this harness here. Yep, so we had voltage here, but obviously if you remember rightly, we had no voltage on this end. So what we've done is we decided to let in a fresh piece of wire. So the way it sits, where we've used our heat shrink crimp connector, it doesn't flex there, but we've put a fresh piece of wire along. Basically the actual wire had busted somewhere around here, and yeah, so we've joined the other end. So you can see there, we just got to tidy it up now, and then once it's tidy up, we'll reassemble the vehicle, and yeah, we should now have a working rear door. So we just bolted it back up. You can see there the carpet's up. This is where the multi-plug earlier on, checking the power here, which was present. So that new piece of little harness there, you can't really see it I suppose, but it goes through, flexes into that door, and then back to that plug there. So ignition's on. Let me just verify. So now if I press the button, you can see the window goes up and down as it should. So yeah, so last thing to do with it, oh, headlight on, is basically now just reassemble the vehicle, clear all the trouble codes, and job should be a good one. Anyway, thank you for following on, and hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.